in the shadow of greatness, Alexander the Great entered a world on the brink of transformation. The year was 356 BC, the place Pella, the capital of the Kingdom of Macedon. His father, King Philip II, was a ruler of ambition and might. Philip dreamed of conquering the vast Persian Empire, a dream that would deeply influence his son. Alexander, from a young age, displayed remarkable intelligence and an unquenchable thirst for knowledge. He excelled in physical pursuits, proving himself a skilled horseman and warrior. Little did anyone know, this young prince would soon surpass even his father's ambitions, carving his own name into the annals of history. Alexander's education was as much a part of his legend as his conquests. Under the tutelage of the renowned philosopher Aristotle, Alexander's mind was honed to a razor's edge. He devoured works of philosophy, literature, and science, displaying an insatiable curiosity that extended beyond the battlefield. Aristotle instilled in him a deep appreciation for knowledge and a profound respect for different cultures. These lessons would profoundly shape Alexander's worldview and his approach to leadership. He learned to see the world not just as a conqueror, but as a student, eager to understand its complexities. Under Aristotle's guidance, Alexander blossomed, his intellect rivaling his physical prowess. At the young age of 20, Alexander faced a pivotal moment. His father, Philip II, was assassinated, leaving a power vacuum that threatened to engulf Macedon. Many doubted the young prince, untested and with enemies circling like vultures. Yet, Alexander possessed a resolve forged by ambition and circumstance. He swiftly crushed internal rebellions, consolidating his grip on the throne and silencing any whispers of doubt. Alexander, now King of Macedon, inherited his father's grand vision, the conquest of the Persian Empire. Fueled by a desire to avenge past Persian incursions into Greece and driven by an insatiable ambition, Alexander set his sights eastward. The stage was set for a clash of titans, a confrontation that would forever alter the course of history. Before marching east, Alexander needed to secure his northern borders. Barbarian tribes, sensing weakness in the wake of Philip's death, threatened Macedon's frontiers. Alexander, demonstrating both strategic acumen and unwavering decisiveness, launched a preemptive strike. He led his army north, crossing the Danube River in a daring campaign that showcased his military prowess. The barbarians, caught off guard by the young king's audacity, were swiftly subdued. This display of strength sent a clear message. Alexander was not to be underestimated. He returned to Macedon, his reputation enhanced, his kingdom secure. With the north pacified, Alexander could now turn his full attention to the Persian Empire, the true prize that lay to the east. In 334 BC, Alexander led his army across the Hellespont, the narrow strait separating Europe from Asia. This symbolic crossing marked the beginning of his epic campaign against the Persian Empire. The Persians, though vast in size and resources, underestimated the Macedonian king. They met Alexander at the Granicus River, confident in their numerical superiority. Alexander, leading his companion cavalry, spearheaded a daring charge across the river, directly into the teeth of the Persian defenses. The Persian satraps, caught off guard by the ferocity and speed of the Macedonian assault, found themselves outmaneuvered and overwhelmed. The Battle of the Granicus River was a decisive victory for Alexander, shattering the myth of Persian invincibility and announcing the arrival of a new power in the east. As Alexander advanced through Asia Minor, he encountered a legend that tested his ingenuity rather than his military might. In the city of Gordium, there was an ancient ox cart tied to a post with an intricate knot. The Gordian Knot, as it was known, was said to be unbreakable, with a prophecy stating that whoever untied it would rule all of Asia. Alexander, intrigued by the challenge, approached the knot. He studied the intricate tangle of ropes, testing their strength and searching for a loose end. Then, in a moment of inspiration, Alexander drew his sword. With a single stroke, he sliced through the knot, effectively untying it and fulfilling the prophecy in his own unique way. The Persian Emperor Darius III, stung by the defeat at Granicus, amassed a vast army to crush the audacious Macedonian king. Their paths collided at Issus, a narrow plain nestled between the Mediterranean Sea and the Amanus Mountains. The Persian army, numbering in the hundreds of thousands, dwarfed Alexander's force. Darius, bedecked in gold and surrounded by his elite immortals, felt confident of victory. Alexander, a master tactician, used the terrain to his advantage. He deployed his forces strategically, using the mountains and the sea to negate the Persian numerical advantage. Alexander, at the head of his companion cavalry, led a devastating charge, piercing the heart of the Persian army and aiming straight for Darius himself. The Persian emperor, witnessing the ferocity of Alexander's attack, fled the battlefield, leaving his army to crumble in disarray. Victory at Issus opened the gates to the Persian heartland, but Alexander refused to be rushed. He understood the importance of securing his rear and consolidating his gains. The wealthy Phoenician city of Tyre, an island fortress renowned for its naval power, presented a formidable obstacle. Alexander, never one to back down from a challenge, laid siege to the city. For 7 long months, Alexander's army besieged Tyre, employing massive siege towers, battering rams, and even constructing a causeway to overcome the city's defenses. The Tyrians resisted fiercely, using fireships and ingenious tactics to repel the Macedonian assault. Finally, through a combination of military might and strategic brilliance, Tyre fell, its once impregnable walls breached, its navy scattered. Gaza, another formidable fortress city guarding the gateway to Egypt, met a similar fate, falling after a 2-month siege. With the Persian heartland lying open before him, Alexander marched towards his destiny. Darius, desperate to salvage his crumbling empire, assembled yet another massive army, even larger than the one he had fielded at Issus. The two forces met near the village of Gaugamela, on a vast plain chosen by Darius for its suitability for his chariot warfare. The Persian army, a vast tapestry of diverse warriors from across the empire, stretched as far as the eye could see. Darius, having learned from his previous defeat, had deployed scythed chariots and positioned his troops to counter Alexander's tactics. As the battle commenced, the earth trembled under the weight of thousands of charging men. Alexander, cool and collected amidst the chaos, once again demonstrated his tactical genius. He anticipated Darius's moves, countered his chariot charges, and exploited gaps in the Persian lines. Alexander's victories were not solely the result of tactical brilliance or military might. They were also a testament to his exceptional leadership qualities. Unlike many rulers of his time, Alexander led his men by example. He shared their hardships, endured the same dangers, and never asked them to undertake any risk he wouldn't take himself. This shared experience fostered a deep bond of trust and loyalty between Alexander and his troops. His presence on the battlefield, always radiating confidence and determination, inspired his men to feats of extraordinary bravery. This shared danger forged an unbreakable bond between king and soldiers, contributing significantly to Alexander's astonishing string of victories. Alexander understood that a leader is only as strong as the men who follow him. He treated his soldiers with respect, regardless of their rank or social standing. He knew their names, listened to their concerns, and recognized their individual contributions. This personal touch, rare in a king, earned him the unwavering devotion of his men. He promoted soldiers from the ranks based on their skill and courage, not their lineage. This egalitarian approach fostered a sense of unity and purpose within the army. Every soldier knew they had the opportunity to rise through the ranks based on their own merits. Beyond his military prowess and leadership skills, Alexander possessed an undeniable charisma. He was a captivating speaker, able to inspire his troops with eloquent speeches and fiery rhetoric. He instilled in them a belief in their destiny, a conviction that they were not just conquering land and riches, but spreading Greek culture and civilization to the far corners of the world. This sense of purpose, of being part of something greater than themselves, fueled their determination and propelled them forward on their epic journey. Alexander's charisma extended beyond his own men. He had a knack for winning over conquered people. He respected their customs, often adopting local dress and learning their languages. He sought to integrate conquered elites into his administration, offering them positions of power and responsibility. Alexander's conquests weren't solely about military dominance and territorial expansion. They were about something far more profound, the spread of Greek culture, philosophy, and art. As Alexander's armies marched eastward, they carried with them the seeds of Hellenism, a vibrant cultural fusion that would leave an indelible mark on the ancient world. Greek customs, language, and ideas began to intermingle with those of the conquered peoples, creating a rich tapestry of cultural exchange. Cities, once isolated, became interconnected through trade and diplomacy. Greek architecture, with its elegant columns and symmetrical designs, began to appear in distant lands. A new era had dawned, one in which cultures intertwined, ideas were shared, and the world became a little smaller. Of all the cities founded by Alexander, none embodied his vision for a cosmopolitan empire more than Alexandria in Egypt. Built on a grand scale, with wide avenues, magnificent palaces, and a harbor that could accommodate 1,000 ships, Alexandria was a beacon of ambition and a testament to Alexander's enduring legacy. At its heart lay the Mautian, a research institution that would become the intellectual center of the Hellenistic world. Scholars and thinkers from across the empire flocked to Alexandria, drawn by its reputation for intellectual freedom and the patronage of the Ptolemaic rulers, Alexander's successors in Egypt. Alexandria became a melting pot of cultures and ideas, a testament to Alexander's vision of a world united by knowledge and shared human experience. While Hellenism spread throughout Alexander's vast empire, it didn't always encounter open arms. Cultural fusion, while often enriching, could also be disruptive. Traditional ways of life were challenged, local customs sometimes viewed with suspicion by the newly arrived Greeks. This clash of cultures, while often subtle, sometimes erupted into open resistance. Alexander, ever the pragmatist, recognized the need for balance. He encouraged his generals to adopt local customs, even marrying Roxana, a Bactrian princess, as a gesture of goodwill and a symbol of cultural integration. This policy of accommodation helped to mitigate some of the tensions arising from cultural exchange. Despite Alexander's efforts to foster unity, discontent was sown. The rapid expansion created logistical challenges. Governing such a vast realm proved daunting. Communication lines were stretched thin. Local governors tested Alexander's authority. Constant warfare took its toll on the army. Macedonian soldiers longed for home. The human cost of empire became apparent. Alexander pressed eastward, seeking new lands. His empire's foundations were crumbling. Diogenes of Sinope, the eccentric philosopher who lived in a barrel and renounced material possessions, presented a unique challenge to Alexander's authority. Diogenes, a staunch critic of societal norms and a champion of self-sufficiency, cared little for kings and conquerors. One sunny morning, as Alexander strolled through the streets of Corinth, surrounded by his entourage, he came across Diogenes basking naked in the sun. Intrigued by this unconventional figure, Alexander approached the philosopher and asked if there was anything he could do for him. Diogenes, without a shred of deference, replied, "Yes, you can step aside. You're blocking my sun." The crowd gasped, expecting a swift and brutal punishment for such insolence. But Alexander, far from being angered, was amused by the philosopher's audacity. He smiled and said, "If I were not Alexander, I would be Diogenes." This encounter, brief and seemingly insignificant, reveals much about Alexander's character. It demonstrates his tolerance for dissenting voices, his intellectual curiosity, and his ability to see beyond the trappings of power. Long before Alexander's legendary conquests, a young prince faced a different kind of challenge: the taming of a wild horse named Bucephalus. Bucephalus was a magnificent creature, black as night with a fiery spirit. But the horse was also considered untamable, prone to violent outbursts. Alexander saw something special in the untamed stallion. He observed that Bucephalus was frightened by his own shadow. With wisdom, Alexander approached the horse slowly, speaking in soothing tones. He calmed the horse, mounted its back, and rode Bucephalus across the fields. Philip, witnessing his son's remarkable feat, was astonished. He embraced Alexander, proclaiming, "My son, look for a kingdom worthy of yourself." Alexander the Great's life was a blazing comet across the sky of history. He was a conqueror without equal, sweeping across continents and toppling empires. Alexander dreamt of a world united by shared culture and knowledge. Cities like Alexandria became centers of learning and commerce. His name, forever etched in history, evokes awe and endless fascination.